Okay, we're working on piston rings again, if this thing will focus here. Maybe, maybe not. These are our end gaps, come across, and the metric, whatever the mm is, millimeters, micrometers, who knows. So this is the correct feeler gauge for this. This is just snug. Wind's blowing real loud today. And this is 0.610, which is on the high side of our allowance there, but that's alright because this tractor gets run pretty hard, so it'll be real good for it. We're going to measure the other two and get them put on the piston after take the other rings off, and we'll see how she goes. I'm going to try to take these piston rings off without breaking them. I like to get a pick down underneath the ring on one side here, get it out of the groove, kind of work my way around without tearing up the piston too much. Maybe come back to the other side, open her up. Just work it right up off of there. One ring. And then the oil ring here on the bottom. They're normally pretty flexible, and you don't have to get the pick in there. Slip it off of there and make sure to get the spring out. Towel this off a little bit. New package of rings. I prefer to start with the bottom and work my way to the top, just because you don't get hung up on the bottom one. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this spring out and put it on down around. And right there you can see where it's got a little metal band it sits in. We want to make sure that's pulled back together. Just take your time, be real gentle with these. Like I said, 3 rings just for this one cylinder is right at $105. Got it in there. Make sure your spring is in the center all the way around. That one looks real good, and they're nice and free. Moves just like it ought to be. I did make a mistake in previous videos. We did have a broken ring. This top compression ring was broken, so that's why we're putting rings in. Number 2, these have written on them, it says top right here, so we gotta make sure that this side goes up. We already checked the end gap on these. I like to start at the back, get one corner down around, go back to the other side, get it down around. When you get to the first gap, you gotta be real careful, but I like to take a pick, try to hop that gap if I can. So that can give you some heartache if you get down in there. Get down around like that. See, we're stuck in that first gap. I want to get down out of it. Probably gonna have to work pick around it. Both these started. Nope. I said you just got to take it slow and easy. So it takes nothing at all to break these rings. And then you're stuck buying another $105 set of piston rings, which nobody really wants to do. Wind's blowing like crazy. Take it nice and slow. You're alright if you mar the inside of the ring just a touch. If you accidentally get carried away, but you don't want to mar the outside surface. Don't want to do it. Grab this other pick. Back in here. Sorry if I'm blocking the camera. I'm not real great at doing this camera work. This one here is normally the hardest one. This is your secondary compression or oil wiper or whatever you want to call it. The bottom ring is what holds oil. That gap holds oil up into the piston. And that one moves good and free. It'll smash down to be a perfect ring gap for us. We got both those in there. Get this top ring put in. And again, we got labeled top right here. I'll make sure that goes up. Like to start the back, ease one side over and then the other. Just work her down on there. They do make piston ring openers. They're kind of dangerous to use, or just you can get too much torque on them and explode that ring right apart. If you take your time this way, I've had a lot of good luck. We got that one on there. Cool. As I showed previously in the book, we got to align our rings correctly. This rag from falling down in there. So we don't want to start the first one at a wrist pin, but we want to go 60 degrees. I'm going to say that there is about 60 degrees from a wrist pin. That's 90, so maybe 75, 60. Take our next one. We want to Okay, this is where I speak wrongly. It's supposed to be 120 degrees from the first piston ring. And the third piston ring is supposed to be 120 degrees from that. So 60 plus 120 is 180. So the second piston ring is right at the wrist pin. And then the third piston ring is 60 degrees off of the first wrist pin side where I set the first wrist pin at. Hopefully this clarifies a little bit. I know I didn't do an awesome job of it on the video, but hopefully this helps. Is 120. I guess yeah. Let's see here. 120 is here, and we want the other one back here. Okay. We should be ready to rock and roll there. Everything moves real good. I'm going to get the cylinder, get it lubed up, get this all cleaned up, and we'll be ready to hopefully try to put it on. Okay, we got the jug up here, lubed up. Now this is the super duper fun part. Take your time, get this thing to go together without breaking any rings. So I go and take this first ring, push it all the way forward. We're going to go ahead and squeeze this dude. There's a nice chamfer on the bottom of this jug, which really makes your life easy. So we got that one on there. I'm going to shoot some more WD down in here on the piston. Give us a little more of a fighting chance. Make sure we still have this where we want this piston ring. And find the end. Again, just take your time. Tear this thing up and you will not have a very good day. Take this around where I can see better.